Good morning and welcome back to today's Bible study on day 202 of our 365 days of studying the Bible. At the moment we're looking at apocalypses, and at the moment it's the Old Testament apocalypses, the ones that precede the big apocalypse in the New Testament. This is from the book of Daniel today, chapter 12, verses 1 to 5. The appearance of Michael, the great prince. I'll turn you round so you can read the text. The angel wearing linen clothes said, "At that time shall arise the great Prince Michael, your people's protector. A time of anguish will come, the like of which has never taken place since nation-states came into existence. But at that time your people will be saved, every one whose name is written in the book. Many who sleep in the earth's dust will wake up. Some of them will awaken to everlasting life, and some to everlasting shame and contempt. The wise ones will shine like the brightness of the sky, and those who lead many to righteousness will shine like stars for ever and ever." He said this to me. "Now, Daniel, I want you to close the book. I want you to seal it shut until the world ends." And in the meantime, a lot of people will be trying unsuccessfully to find out the meaning of what is going on. All reputable Bible scholars will tell you that the book of Daniel was written well after the empires of Babylon and Persia had faded, written after the rise and success of Alexander the Great. It was written during the time when Antiochus IV, Antiochus Epiphanes, ruled in Palestine. He was the one who desecrated the Jerusalem temple in 168 BC, and it took the Maccabees 3 heroic years to bring it back under Jewish possession in 165 BC. Then to be cleansed of its pagan statues and rededicated to Yahweh. This is the event, accompanied by the lighting of the lamps commemorated by Jews annually at the Feast of Hanukkah, just before Christmas. This apocalypse, which comprises chapters 7 to 12 of the book of Daniel, is a book of encouragement to Jews to keep their faith whilst living under a violent pagan hegemony. The story of Daniel in chapters 1 to 6 is that of a legendary Jewish hero in the time of the early exile in Babylon. Then from chapter 7 onwards, it is a book of dreams and visions of great relevance to Jews who had been suffering under Antiochus Epiphanes and who needed reassurance that God was still God and better days were coming. For us, this is relevant because it paves the way for our mighty hero, Jesus Christ. These visions and dreams interpret the history of the world from Babylonian times for the people in the writer's present. In chapter 11, there is a description of Antiochus Epiphanes' desecration of the temple. If you look at chapter 11, verses 30 and 31, it says there, he will turn back in anger and try to destroy God's people's religion, advised by Jewish apostates. Some of his troops will desecrate the temple, stop the daily sacrifices, and set up the awful horror. Then comes the hope of release, which we see in today's reading. The Christ-like figure here is Michael. He has an angel's name, but is called a prince. He saves the living and raises the dead. There will be a judgment day, and the heroes of the faith will shine like stars in the firmament. It is still too soon for belief in universal resurrection to have become general. That would have to wait for the coming of Christianity. We are clearly not meant to understand what is going on in the world, but the writer of Daniel did hold out a hope for the faithful, saying in chapter 12, verses 2 and 3, that many who sleep in the earth's dust will wake up. Some of them will awaken to everlasting life, and some to everlasting shame and contempt. The wise ones will shine like the brightness of the sky, and those who lead many to righteousness will shine like stars for ever and ever. Well, that's the end of our look at the Old Testament precursors of the apocalypses we find later. And tomorrow we begin our visit to the earliest apocalypses of the Christian era, starting with something we find in St. Mark's Gospel. See you tomorrow.